my wreck. Because this will be too much for Facebook anyway, so we'll have to break it down and do it in little segments, but I'll talk about the day of my wreck. Actually, I'll talk about the day before. There's a snowstorm in Northern Ontario, really bad one. I went through it on the way down. I switched loads, and my brother, who lives in Barrie, Ontario, he works for a truck driving school. And I went and spoke to his class for a couple hours on safety and what happens out there, because they're learning to get their truck driver license.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to me, anything was going to happen the next day, right? So I started heading back, and it was a sunny day, the second day out of Cochrane. I left Cochrane first thing in the morning early because their time change is 2 hours ahead. And I get a phone call from a friend of mine's daughter, my best friend's daughter at that time, saying that my best friend ended up in the hospital. He suffered from breathing? COPD, that's what it is. And he ended up going in, and she said it's not good. So I'm thinking about that, and it's about an hour before my whole incident, right? So I said, well, I hope he pulls through until I get home, right? So the accident happened at 9:45 Eastern time, when I was sitting with my four-ways on, minding my own business, and that's what we were just talking about, right? How things happen and we're not in control of any of it.
Yeah.
And I watched this guy coming, like, for a mile, and he wasn't slowing down, I had my seatbelt on, I just gotten a soft drink out of the fridge, and I was sitting down there, and I'm watching him getting bigger in the mirror, and all of a sudden I realized, this guy's not slowing down.
Oh.
So I watched it all happen in my rear mirror, and shortened the trailer 6 feet, and I had a brand new trailer. Like normally what happens in an accident like that is a kingpin that holds the trailer in place of the fifth wheel, breaks, and then the trailer goes through the cab of the truck.
Ooh.
Right? I had a brand new trailer, first trailer. So it went to the stopper pins are called, and the back axles, and it drove it up against the fifth wheel plate, but it didn't break. Absolute miracle at 80 kilometers an hour. That's how fast it'd be. Police were already on scene. I was at an accident scene. There was a truck right across the road. He should have seen it all, but didn't. Since then, I found out he was charged with following too close.
Wow. That's it?
Yeah. Took him 3 days to get me back by aircraft from Mid-Hunter. And my buddy was in the hospital, and I went to see him on the third day, and told him that, quit being so friggin', because he'd already been out for a long time. Said, quit being so tough, it's time to go. And I left there, and 2 hours later he passed on.
No.
So he told me before he asked me if I'd take care of his family after he's gone, and I committed to that. And I did for the funeral. In fact, I paid for the part of the funeral, and did what I suggested. Then I got sick, right?
Yeah.
But everybody had said to me, he waited for you to come back. Well, he was out, but I told him, it's time to go. You don't have to hang around anymore.
Yeah.
Right? And yeah, 2 hours later, he passed on. So, part of my course is talking about shelving things and containment.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to shelve that pain of that and contain it until just the last couple weeks. So Jim Cross's picture is going to be sitting beside me, his memory from his funeral, on the stool beside me, because I want it there.
Yeah.
Right? So it's pretty cool that he's going to actually see this become a success. Right? Now, yesterday, his brother passed away.
No way.
Yes.
Was he sick too?
Yep. Same scenario. Wouldn't take any oxygen.
Yeah.
Passed away at about 7:30 last night. I was contacted by the family that was going on, but that's his brother, and it's surreal. And dealing with his death, and boom, I didn't know their Uncle Ken and his brother. I didn't know him, so that was a little bit. I saw him at his funeral, but right after his funeral is when I shelved everything and didn't pull it out for over a year. And I can teach people how to do that, because trauma's funny that way. You sometimes can't deal with everything.
Yeah. No.
So now I'm dealing with his death, and it's been pretty cool doing that. And I never thought I'd ever say it's pretty cool dealing with
Yeah.
the death of somebody, but it actually really has been. The response from the family. His wife has sent me pictures to have on stage with me of him because him and I are best buddies.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's current thing going on.
Okay, I'm just gonna straighten up that PTSD with a tight liner there, and we're just.
It's about done, eh?
Yeah.
How's it looking, Marie? She know what you're doing, Marie?
Yes, she does.
It's awesome. So is there anything you want to know more about the course, or you want to share with the folks that are on here about your life and the changes you've made and why this is all working for you?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things I want to know about the course,
Okay.
but I'll have to sit down and kind of write stuff
Well,
down too.
what I've done too is I've put all 13 steps of the course on 10-minute videos for each step. So
Oh,
I do it
cool.
over. So I can email you a copy of that,
Yeah, sure.
and then you'll get exactly what it's all about.
Yeah, that's an awesome idea.
I did them all as 10-minute videos on my site,
Okay.
but I may as well just group them all because I had to do that with other people because a friend of mine, Bob, he said, I've been on there, he says, I get 1 and 5 and 11 and 7.
Yeah.
So I'm just putting it all together, right? Actually, the fellow that's going to start doing my internet stuff is going to put it all together and title everything.
Okay.
So
yeah.
when I get that, I'll email it to you,
Yeah.
and then you can have a look. So it's
Perfect.
exciting to have it come up. Okay, the chances of it working is 100% because it worked for me, and I was a mess.
Okay, so that's one thing I want to know. Did you have trauma, PTSD before this accident?
I had PTSD and I had close calls in the truck, 4 of them, right? All within 7 to 10 years.
Yeah.
But I grew up in a very traumatic home.
Yeah.
Sexual abuse,
So you
physical
probably
abuse.
did then.
So I
Yeah.
had PTSD. Okay, because that's post trauma.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's something that I can talk about. Is that a lot of people don't understand what PTSD really is. I have acute PTSD is what I hear people say lots of times. Well,
Yeah.
no PTSD is any worse than any other PTSD.
Right.
It's post-trauma. It's
Yeah.
not trauma time. You don't
Yeah.
get it when you've had the trauma. It can manifest in years down the road, right?
Yeah.
Mine, after this wreck, 2 months. And I gave a seminar that's on my site. You can go in and watch it. It's really interesting because it was on depression, anxiety, and how to deal with panic attacks. It's on my site, and it was done down at the comedy club, right?
Yeah.
Within 30 days of that happening, I couldn't leave my house.
Yeah.
The anxiety got so bad.
Yeah.
And anybody who knows me went, "What the hell just happened?" Not half as much as I did.
It's not even controllable.
No, it's not.
You're like, what the heck? What's going on?
And you know, if there's anything I could say about people that have PTSD and trauma, I can say this. You cannot control this thing,
No.
right? You can learn to live with
You
it,
can reason with yourself.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
tomorrow I'm going to be better. I'm
Oh,
going to do
yeah.
this. I'm going to do that.
or Murray will appreciate this. You know, I know you've had some trauma in your life, but you'll appreciate this. It's called a cloud of anger, right?
Yeah.
That's what they call it.
Yeah.
And what happens is that when something happens, we automatically refer to anger, which is a secondary emotion, right?
Yeah. It's the
But
hardest one to
hardest one to
control.
deal with.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether this has ever happened to you. You ever flipped out on somebody and then afterwards you went, "Why did I do that?"
Yeah.
Or get up in the morning, right? And somebody pissed you off the day before, and I'm not going to do anything about this guy at all. I'm going to leave it alone, and I'm not going to say nothing.
And take it
30
out. Yeah.
seconds after you meet up with the guy, you want to punch him in the throat. And sometimes do. That is a big part of PTSD, right?
Yeah.
It is.
I don't get that anymore since I
Yeah,
take
I don't either.
meds.
Well,
So-
you had that before? It doesn't happen to everybody. Honestly, it doesn't. Did she know you before that?
Lacey?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, she didn't actually. I moved here to kind of get clean and sober and change
It's
my
a great
life.
place to do that.
Tilt your head.
Yeah, tilt your head a little bit. Perfect. Okay, Bill, give me a thumbs up.
Thumbs up?
Yeah.
How am I supposed to give you a thumbs up when I don't know what it looks like?
We have you on video. You're good. Thumbs
Okay, so do a close up on it, right, for the video, and then we'll end the video.
up. Move your head over.
Yeah, move your head a bit. It's just dark right now because all the blood's at the surface, and
Yeah, well,
it will calm down.
it'll
a
calm
little
down.
bit.
I wanted it to be healed up before the first one I do, right?
Yeah.
That was the big thing. So let's see your picture. I am so impressed with those needles. They're not even
Aren't
close
they
to
nice?
this.